Welcome back to the Progressive Pulse channel. Once again, we will be discussing Trump and his nonsense, but before that, you can support us by liking the video and subscribing to our channel.
This time from Bret Baier, who just spoke to President Trump on the phone. He reflected on Elon Musk, and here's what Bret learned in that phone call. Trump is not interested in talking to Elon. Trump is not worried about threats of a third party. Now, that comes because Elon Musk tweeted this. He put up a poll and he said, "It is time to create a new political party in America that actually represents the 80% in the middle." He asked that as a question of his followers. So he asked about a potential third party. President Trump says he's not worried to Bret Baier. President Trump also pointed to his favorable polls and his strong support among Capitol Hill Republicans. Noteworthy, Elon Musk called for constituents to call congressmen and women. Whether those calls have materialized, I've seen reports that they have not. Would also note, underscoring President Trump's point, he's ahead in the Real Clear Politics average of Obama and Bush at this point in the second term. And finally, a direct quote from Bret Baier from President Trump. The quote from President Trump is this: "Elon has totally lost it."
Okay, folks, Trump is back on stage, and guess what happened? Elon Musk conducted a poll, yes, on Twitter, where else, asking, should we start a new political party? And Trump? He picked up the phone and said to Bret Baier, "I don't care. Elon has completely lost his mind." Really? This guy who spent 4 years in the White House building a wall between himself and reality is now questioning someone else's sanity. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. We're talking about the guy who said, "I won't give up the presidency," and sent a mob to the Capitol. Now he's pretending not to care about Elon, but he can't stop talking about him without mentioning his name. Typical Trump. He acts like an obsessive fan of everything he claims not to care about. By the way, why is he so allergic to the idea of a third party? He's scared, because this time things aren't as rigged as they used to be. And yes, he's still in the "I'm leading in the polls" mindset. Bush was leading too, then Iraq happened, remember? Real support isn't in the polls, it's on the streets. And Trump is pretty lonely out there.
Our government presented El Salvador with an arrest warrant, and they agreed to return him to our country. We're grateful to President Bukele for agreeing to return him to our country to face these very serious charges. This is what American justice looks like. Upon completion of his sentence, we anticipate he will be returned to his home country of El Salvador. The grand jury found that over the past 9 years, Abrego Garcia has played a significant role in an alien smuggling ring.
Now, another victory for justice is being staged. The El Salvador government has accepted America's extradition request and handed over a human trafficker to us. Officials are proudly presenting this situation, saying, "Look, this is how American justice works." Really? Is this justice? So, someone who has been smuggling people across the border for 9 years has been caught red-handed, but our system is only now taking it seriously. And of course, thanks to President Booker and all that. Isn't that part a bit of a show too? The same system that builds walls for migrants and then boasts about extraditing human traffickers. Which is real, and which is propaganda? Let's not forget, this is the same system that separated children from their families, the same system that told refugees to go back where you came from, and now it's posing as a rule of law. So, excuse me, but if justice is something that comes late and selectively, then this isn't just law, this is a stage, theatrics. And yes, once again, the cruelty is the point.
Andrews, where he is now, he's now going to board Air Force One, fly to his golf club at Bedminster to spend the weekend there. Let's see if the president, no, it doesn't look like he's going to stop and talk to reporters. Looks like he is getting inside his vehicle. Let's see. I don't think we're going to get him to talk to us, unfortunately. But anyway, he's going to be boarding. It looks like he got inside his vehicle. Maybe they're going to motorcade there rather than fly Air Force One.
Chairwoman Green, you and my Republican colleagues have called this hearing that is all about cutting off money to nonprofits for things that are, quote, contrary to the national interest. What we've heard here is my Republican colleagues going after nuns and priests that feed immigrants, going after nonprofits that do scary things like support our queer youth. It is astounding to me. But we do have one nonprofit leader here, Mr. Krikorian. Mr. Krikorian, you're the director of the Center for Immigration Studies, correct?
Yes.
And according to your organization's website, you do receive taxpayer funding or have from the Department of Justice and the Census Bureau.
Yeah, we did research contracts for them many years ago.
Got it. And so you do have a taxpayer-funded nonprofit, and your nonprofit, as we've discussed in committee before, has shared articles from Kevin McDonald, whose work argues that Jewish people, alleged by him, are genetically driven to destroy Western societies. Is that correct?
We distributed no such article.
But you did distribute work from this anti-Semite, correct?
We distributed work all across the spectrum,
Right,
from New York
from this
Times
anti-Semite
to anyone
comment.
else.
Got
yes.
it, okay. Your organization has also circulated an article by Holocaust denier John Friend. Is that correct? We said last time we were in a hearing that yes, you have.
We've distributed no articles about Holocaust denial, obviously. It has
But you
nothing to
have
do
from
with us.
Holocaust denier John Friend?
I don't know, but I assume so, yeah.
Your website right here does
Okay.
talk about that.
Yeah.
So I have a yes or no question. Is promoting the work of Holocaust deniers and anti-Semites contrary to the national interest?
Promoting Holocaust denial and what have you is contrary to the national interest. That's why we haven't done it.
But you have promoted the work of Holocaust deniers. John Friend.
There were several examples. We've also promoted the work of Open Borders people in that effort to present a broad range of views. Yeah, absolutely. And we don't endorse one way or the other.
So you have promoted the work of Holocaust deniers, but have you received anything from Doge asking whether they want to cut your funding? Have Republicans called you in to ask about your nonprofit and said, hey, we don't like that you've promoted the work of Holocaust deniers? Have you had any funding cut by Doge or by this committee?
We don't get any funding to be cut.
But you have received Department of Justice funding. And
Decades ago, yes, yeah.
And so, look, let me just be real clear here. This hearing is not about taking on nonprofits that are going, quote, against the national interest or who are, quote, extreme. This is all about trying to shut down nonprofits who might share political views that are different from that of the President of the United States. This hearing, they're going after organizations they call radical because they're kind to kids that are having trouble in school, kind to kids that are trying to figure out who they are in the world. They're going after nonprofits, and you, sir, and your nonprofit are saying that the radical people are the priests and nuns that feed the hungry, the nonprofit organizations that, yeah, give shelter to immigrants, that I understand your Center of Immigration Studies does not like immigration very much. But
Really? Republicans are targeting nuns who help immigrants and associations that support LGBTQ youth, claiming they are contrary to the national interest. What is going on? They are acting as if these people have leaked nuclear secrets. But when it comes to an organization that received funding from the Department of Justice years ago and shared anti-Semitic content on its website, poof, silence. Seriously, they've been spreading Holocaust denier articles but claim, we're just providing diversity of opinion. Is this what you call diversity? When did citing someone like John Friend become free speech? Someone is lecturing us, yet they've openly supported racist sources, and now they're labeling nuns feeding immigrant children as radical. It's not funny, it's terrifying. And it's all too familiar. It was the same during the Trump era. Attack, blame the victim, then cry free speech. But the most disheartening part? That someone who can call the manifesto of a white supremacist who killed 23 people in El Paso grammatically successful is still given legitimacy. The sentence structure is sound. Wow. We're talking about a text that targets people based on their ethnic origin. This isn't just a lack of empathy, it's a systematic effort to normalize it. The radical ones aren't the organizations helping children. The radical ones are those spreading this ideology. The cruelty is the point. It always was. Trump did the same. He separated migrant families, put children in cages, then said, "We're enforcing the law." What's happening today is no different. They've just polished their faces a bit more, but the smell is the same.